terrorists abduct APC women leaders in Kaduna after attending a governor's inauguration. The incident happened when the women leaders Hajiya Lami Aware and her assistant Hajiya Hawlatu Aliyu attended the inauguration of the state governor Uba Sani. Terrorists, locally dubbed as bandits, have reportedly abducted two women leaders of the APC along the Manini flashpoint in the Birni Gwari local government area of Kaduna State. The incident happened when the women leaders, Hajiya Lami Aware and her assistant Hajiya Hawlatu Aliyu, attended the inauguration of the state governor Uba Sani. The chairman, Birni Gwari Emirate Progressive Union, Ishaq Kasai, confirmed the development to newsmen on Wednesday. It was learned that the suspects during the abduction on Tuesday whisked the women away into the forest. Apart from the women, the chairman said scores of other victims were kidnapped by the suspects. He identified the abducted women leaders, and the abductors, according to the chairman, are yet to contact the families of the victims or any person in the area. Well, it seems like we're back to the routine of the Nigerian calendar. Elections are over, and it seems like terrorists have basically resumed. It is a little bit convenient after the elections, but with Tinubu as the president, who, to be honest, has not given any Nigerian a reasonable manifesto, what he wants to do, an entitled man with resources has entered office. So whatever now happens, we don't see any change coming anytime soon. So that is it. Okolameka says, Tinubu said, I will continue from where Buhari stopped. Then many people think he was on drugs when he spoke. Well, now that's the thing, because Nigerians will have voted in, as much as, yes, the process is rigged. Nigerians have also chosen to vote in an individual who hasn't proven his worth as a leader and has used tactics and manipulations of over how many years in his political game to get into office. So it's no surprise. This would literally be, again, every week we're going to talk about the same thing. Terrorists have resumed in the northern part of the country, but it's going to see how the dynamic is going to change, because the president now is not from the north. So how would he react to certain situations? So, for example, Buhari wasn't active. He never really said anything. These attacks just happened, and when we looked for answers, he was nowhere to be found. And with the alliance with the Yorubas and the Hausas, and obviously seeing how the election has gone, how do you predict that Tinubu would react, if he would react, or would he be available? Tinubu has been inaugurated, so therefore you can say that we are in a new regime and time. Now, this is the kind of issues that Tinubu should be tackling, and not fraudulent removal of fuel subsidy that doesn't exist. Well, if you then see Tinubu as a businessman who has got into office, with the other things, for example, that have to do with security or just in general for the benefit of the country, Tinubu hasn't proven to have any plans to do that. The benefit that we could say Tinubu is going to bring that would align with his own aims and with his businesses and whatever he wants to achieve is the benefit of the Nigerian economy. We can see how he might not necessarily make the best looking policies, but in terms of benefiting as Nigerians in the long run, he is useful in that regard. But as a leader, for someone who would think into our future, understanding education, I mean, students are still, and the public universities are still on strike. That means the job market, the labor market, the skills we're building. He's not necessarily a leader who thinks or shows to think about the next generation and, building our skills and ownership of our oil and our own production and all that. So it's like, we can't be surprised with the kind of president that we get when he's shown us in plain sight what he's capable of doing. And he said he's going to continue from when Buhari stopped. So to be fair, let's just get ready for the worst. The sad thing about these attacks is they've gotten to a point where as I said, resumption of these terrorists they've started. And so it's gotten to a point where, as Nigerians, it's just any other news. And the scary thing is, if you look at our history, we've been regressing. Things get worse as we go along, right? But it gets to a point where, as Nigerians, we accept so easily, not that, okay, fine, we can fight to the extent where we can eradicate every bad thing completely. But looking at the comments and people's reactions and making jokes about, oh, we should settle them, or the courts say, or even referencing other attacks where the government and, officials have just acted so lazy and inconsiderate. We make jokes about this and people die and it will just be another attack. So it's a thing where, as a people, the scary thing is we don't want to lose some sort of like empathy, and the effect of having these attacks so consistently is we get used to it, and then until let's say, for example, God forbid, it happens in a southern state, or it happens in Lagos, or it happens in Abuja, for example. Abuja is kind of consistent, but let's say it happens in Imo, Delta, Enugu, Akwa Ibom, then you'd see Nigerians are going to erupt. But as far as that region is concerned, which obviously shows the divide between the north and the south, it's just, it's part of what we go through. And it's very sad, because then the conversations just become, we just don't care anymore. And again, with the whole Japa situation, everyone becomes hyper independent, very selfish. Not that it's for wrong reasons, justifiably selfish, to protect themselves and seek for a better life. You have people risking their lives wanting to escape their country. Now, this is where we're going. We're in a season where, okay, fine, we've lost hope. We've gotten to a point where we've seen that the leaders are not working. Voting, what is the point of voting if the same thing's going to happen again and again? People don't have, justifiably over time, being patriotic and wanting your country to be better, and just having blind hope with no action and being disorganized has also added to it. But just feeling helpless and feeling there's no way on solution just breeds people who want to leave and would make as much money as they can to leave the country and start somewhere else. The fact is, not everybody can leave. So then what would happen? Are we going to leave our country for these people? And then it's more a thing where people are looking to leave and not look back. It's a different thing. Okay, fine, you're leaving. Okay, you're trying to associate yourself with your country, but we have a huge number of people just wanting to leave and not look back. Well, the UN already said that the world is not ready to accommodate more than 100 million Nigerians if they're willing to escape. So not everybody can leave. Put your comments in the comment section below, and do not forget to like and subscribe.